You're probably wondering where I've been the last month or so, and I thought I was here in this beautiful spot and I'd share a little bit of reflect on where I've been and what's been going on with me over the last little bit here in my absence here on this channel. There's been so many things that have arisen and bubbled up inside me, one of which is just returning back to some old patterns, an old kind of system that my body has been holding on to for since as long as I know. Deep feelings of panic and fear, things that I can't cognitively understand, but are just so wedged and entrenched deep inside me. And so that was showing up in my life in a way that was really unexpected. And those of you that are on the healing journey are familiar with this, but especially as you start to cultivate in your life more presence, more awareness, more heart space, you begin the process of taking deep in there and really start going through all of it. And there's layers to it, as I've learned, just when you think you're completely through all of it, there's another layer to cycle back. And I thought it would be helpful just to share a little bit here, some insights that's come out of this time where I've really gone into a quiet, more isolated time to be with myself. Because what I found is anytime that I have this incredible disruption, whether it's physically in my body or in my outer reality of my life, as much as I want it to be different, as much as I want to change it, as much as I want to do something, right, to make it better, what I've learned is the more that I release that part of me that's trying to fix it and become in more acceptance with what is actually present moving through me. So sometimes that means not so conveniently in your day-to-day schedule as for me as a father, as a husband, as someone who takes care of and mentors and aids a lot of people. Thankfully, I have that flexibility in my life where I can take a pause and spend a lot more time like in nature here and in other places where it allows me that space to go in. This is crucial. What I found is the more time we give ourselves where we're not being distracted, where we're in a space, hopefully in nature, in a place where it allows kind of those mechanisms, those structures internally in place that we hold in our body, in our mind, that really prevent us from going deeper and being with what is there. Nature's incredible for that, where it allows us to just kind of start to peel those layers back and be with it in a way that allows for presence, that allows for no judgment. And if there is emotional charge that comes from it, there's such a containment for it. I find coming to the ocean, like here, I find going to the desert, going to the mountains to be really, really helpful for that. So one of the things that came in this time where I was really going into, again, this fear, this terror that was bubbling up from pre-verbal, really it felt like, when it was so like those times when you are in a space and you're unable to delineate where that which is you and that which is them. And those times when you're a baby, you see it in the formation of a baby when they're like looking at their hand and like noticing this is me, right? But before that, it's all of you. And you are just all of that which energy and space you are in. So in that time of my life, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of panic, a lot of things going on that, was going on in my life and my family at that time. And that stuff just absorbs deep into the tissues. So I was just doing my process that I share with you all here on my channel, which I was just being with it, just taking the time to be with it. And you've heard a lot, maybe other people talking about this very popular saying to just let it go. It's actually very common in the non-duality movement and in other kind of schools of thought that anytime you meet resistance from the ego is to just let it go. And there's truth to that, of course, because it works. But the insight that came to me is rather than letting go, because when we attempt to let go, it is an annihilation of the self. It is a death. And for a lot of us that have had trauma or had a long, hard road of sickness, of debilitation, of suffering into such a degree, it's not so easy mustering up the confidence to just be willingly to release. And what occurred to me is before we can actually come to that place to release and let go, we first have to taste the love. We have to know the love is there. We have to know that there's something that is not just love in a conditional sense, but in an unconditional sense. That it is so pervasive and available to us, something that we can allow ourselves to just fall back into. For most of us, that is not the baseline of our existence of reality. It is a constant fight or flight, on edge, moving through life, gritting your teeth, white knuckling it, right? So who's gonna let go in that state? And this is something that I've been teaching now for a long time in my programs, but I think it's really helpful to hear these things in different contexts again and again. Is the more that I step deeper in the realms of my unconscious, the more I understand how essential it is to be in the heart center and to be welcomed in a containment of universal unconditional love. And you can put a name to that however you wish. It can be God, it can be universe, it can be the Most High, it can be your maker. And even if you don't believe in any of those things, it can be just the knowing that some incredible miracle put this all together so we can experience. And what, through this time, this difficult time I was in, it became so, just so obvious to me, the importance of this being not just a daily thing, but a literally moment to moment to moment experience of connecting with that universal unconditional love until I'm breathing it into all the tissues, all the cells of my body, and moving all the doubt, all the uncertainty that my younger 1-year-old self didn't know at that time. And in a sense, I'm just bathing it, soaking it in this consciousness so it knows so deeply. Because that 1-year-old self that I'm referring to as me, but maybe it's you too, is still happening right now in our unconscious, like a program running. And that affects your everyday reality. Of course, I was unconscious of it too. But when we have these episodes or things that pop up in our life that we can kind of resist and push away and go, oh shit, this is happening again. Actually, this is the time to welcome and embrace it and, dare I say, love it, appreciate it, accept it fully for what it is, the blessing that's giving you right now in this moment. Because that is the transmutation in that place. That is the transformation that's going to move you from the state of contracted, of believing that everything is a lack and fear, to now accepting from that 1-year-old state, you are infinite love. You are, any moment, as bad as it may seem, are still being embraced with the most merciful, the most loving, the most compassionate, forgiving force that heals you. So the key is, how do we do this? It is a constant remembrance in each moment to turn our attention to this love. Even if it doesn't feel like there's anything there for you whatsoever. I tell my clients, like, think of those moments. Think of, your puppy dog, or think of your child. Those moments where you were just elated, where your heart was uplifted. That is the pathway that leads you to a remembrance that love is. And I am that love that is. And as you remember that, you taste that, you change, your heart literally turns back to the love. And that changes your state, that changes how this body physiologically is operating when you're in that state. Moving out of fight or flight and moving to that healing state that's going to get you over that edge, over that hump. And this is where the miraculous lives. I'm putting together a training for this. So stay tuned on this channel. And if this is something that really resonates with you, I encourage you to like this, to subscribe. If you're someone that really is looking to go way past the boundaries of what healing is possible from the heart space, subscribe. And I'd love to have you here, because things are really opening up for me and opening up for this channel. And I'm really excited to see the potential of healing that is available for you here and in this channel. So God bless you all. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and peace be with you. Look at this. Amazing.